Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the new session of Architecture 2023, the next steps. What are you supposed to do? How do you go ahead from here? What are your options? So these are the topics we're going to cover today. For those of you who have missed the previous webinar, I've done a webinar on architecture schools to consider in 2023. For those of you who have missed it, it's a very nice presentation. It talks to you about how to go about, fundamentally how to go about choosing an architecture school and what you should look out for. But today's session is a little different. We're talking about calculating ranks. How do you calculate your ranks? How do the ranks work, right? Because you're answering the NATA exam and they take your board scores and then they create a rank system. So how does that work? What's the logic behind that? We'll talk about the admission process for Karnataka CET Architecture process, the COMEDK process, the direct application process to architecture schools. And the third part of this webinar, we're going to cover the list of architecture schools that you can consider. Right? So over to the first part of this. Right. So before we start, this is a very important aspect. The processes have been changing every year. And it's a little complex to work on, to, be able to deliver this, but, use this as a guideline, but make your own decisions, right? There are also a lot of speculations that have been done, especially when it comes to the schools, and we are trying to facilitate your ability to make knowledgeable judgments, right? We're not here to give you the, there's no way we can get into your shoes. So it's very important that you make the judgment, but we are there as a guideline to that, right? So be very cautious about that. But going forward, we have a lot of students who've done extremely well in the NATA exam, meaning 150 plus, right? But we also have students who've not done all that great in NATA. Now, what we want you to, start off with is not to be disappointed, right? And this is a sketch of architect Frank Gehry, right? The reason I put it here is to show, now this is a rough sketch what he's done, but this is the final outcome of that same rough sketch. Isn't it amazing, right? It's amazing to see what this sketch has converted into, right? So what it means is that everyone's got their ideas in mind, right? How do you translate it into a real scenario? That's the most important aspect. The NATA exam is just one part of that journey. Whether it goes well or not, don't worry about it too much, right? Getting into the rank calculations. Before that, let me briefly pause my share and see if there are any questions. You could type in your questions if you'd like. And I'll be looking at the questions panel, occasionally when I get the chance. Right, we can go ahead. So I've given here an example, okay? It's not, so this is the part of the speculation. It's an example just to show you how these ranks are calculated. Now your NATA score is out of 200, all right? So what you need to do, you need to take 50% of your NATA score and 50% of your 12th board score to get the rank, okay? Now in this case, 50% of the NATA score, so the NATA score, remember, is out of 200. What we're going to do is bring it down to a factor of 100 and then further take 50% of that, right? So literally your NATA score gets divided by 4, all right? Your 12 board scores, it gets divided by 2, right? So that's how we take the 50%. So just very simply, NATA score by 4, 12 boards by 2, you get a total score. Now let's assume the top the top scorer in NATA. Now it's very likely that they have got done extremely well. It's very likely that they've not done so well in their boards. But let's take a scenario where they've done phenomenally in NATA as well as their boards, right? So if you add these two numbers, you get the score of 89. And let's assume nobody has done better than that. That's how they get rank 1. And as you go down the order, everyone's combination changes. So let's say as you go down the order, you will get ranks like so, right? So now you need to put your own NATA score, your own board score, club it together, kind of see where your score lies. But it's not going to make any difference to you. Ultimately, what's going to happen is they are going to release the ranks. You will not know how it pans out unless the official ranks are released. And only once the official ranks are released, you will get clarity on what you need to do. So I hope everyone's clear till here. Let me pause for some questions and see if there are any questions. Smira Bhargavi is asking, while considering board scores, do they consider PCM or all 6 subjects? Now, this is a very important question. Very often, so you know what, this is something that has been changing over the years. At few years ago, we've seen them taking all 6 subjects. Occasionally, we've seen them taking only PCM. Officially, I have not personally seen any official declaration from the Karnataka CET cell saying that we're considering PCM only or all 6 boards, all 6 subjects. I have not seen that. So what we have done is we've gone to the center, we've spoken to people, but the person at the gate says, oh, we are considering PCM, right? It's not really reliable unless they officially announce it. So maybe a bit of a gray area, but you'll have to do with what they take. Irrespective, what you know is that it applies to everybody, right? So it's going to be fair either ways. Nothing to totally worry about. Now, I'm going to share this link with you, the link to this presentation deck, what you're seeing. It's going to be put into the description of this webinar on YouTube. All right. I'm going to add it immediately after this webinar. But if you click on this, you go straight to the official website. So this link will take you, let me open this up here. This link will take you to the official website of the Council of Architecture. I hope you can see this council. So every school listed here, you will see the school, the number of seats listed, and there will be schools that have been unlisted as well, or cancelled or lost their license. So please look at this official document for the status on your school. The next aspect is going to the NATA website, right? Or let's put it this way. When you go to the NATA website, make sure that all information is exactly from here. You get a lot of information, the latest updates, the latest notification. Very, very important that you do that. All right. The third aspect is the past year cutoff. Now, we've seen a lot of students who are quite interested in the JEE process as well. If you go on to the JEE JOSA website, you can select by year, you can select round number 6, you can select all institutes, you can select the academic program. So what we need you to do is, let's say all institutes, select the academic program as architecture. If I remember right, it's somewhere down. This is a bit of a pain to traverse through, but yeah, here it is. Okay. Architecture 5-year BDES, and let's say there are all the quotas. So let's say you come under open category, or let's say all, you can click on this and click on submit. What you will get is an entire list of for IIT Kharagpur, what has the rank been? So the opening rank and the closing rank, right? Under open category. So what I'm going to do to make this simpler, I'm just going to select the open category so that it becomes easier for us to go through. Now over here, you can see this under the open category. You see this code is called All India rank. This is called home state rank. This is called other state rank, right? So what this means is that in Kharagpur, you can only get an all India rank to get through to here, right? So Kharagpur, Roorkee, Varanasi, that's the way you get it. Whereas if you go to, say, MNIT Jaipur, they have two categories, one for the home state and one for the other state, all within out of state, right? So all within the open category itself, they have these options. So if you are within Madhya Pradesh, then you can go to you qualify under the home state category, but if you're outside that state, then you come under the open, then you look at these ranks. All right. So I hope everyone is clear on that as of now. Again, I'm going to pause and look for some questions. Yeah. Okay. So Sanjana is asking, should we wait for counseling or is there anything we can do regarding admissions? Sanjana, I'm going to cover this in, going in the later part of my presentation, what you can do now. So when does the CET counseling happen for BIAC? It should have started any time now. They've yet to announce the ranks. We're expecting the ranks in the next 1 week. So after that, you can be certain that the process will be quick. When can I know when the CET result for architecture? Probably in a week. Anav is asking, because private universities want us to confirm by the end of June. Yes, so Anav Shrish, this is an issue. The private schools will want you to confirm. The CET process takes time. Really a private school does not have the ability to wait for the CET process, right? So they're just going to go ahead and you do what works with you. Are colleges very rigid about ranks, or do they put their ranks out on the website? Smita, I'm assuming that you're asking about the government, the private schools. So the private schools have their own criteria, so you need to connect with them. And you can do that. Okay, screen is not shared with the website. Oh, all right. Let me do that again. Let me stop the share and let me reshare. Hold on. Okay, so do you see this? I'm going to refresh again. Okay, so what you can do is, let me show this process again. Are you able to see the JOSA website right now? Please type in yes. Okay. Someone is saying that they couldn't clear PCM in the group. Is the council likely to announce anything positive? No, it's very important that you clear PCM. So that's very, very important. So you need to do whatever you can to clear that. All right. So now let's say this is the JOSA website. Click on, so the link is in the presentation. Click on the presentation link and you'll come to this page. You can select the year 2022. You can select whichever round you're interested in. I suggest you look at round 6 that shows you last year what your best options were. Then you can select all. All right, so the institute types, whether you're looking for an NITs or SPAs or government funded, so you select probably all. Over here, select the institute names that you're interested in. If you're looking for a specific institute, come down all the way to the bottom. And in the bottom, you have the architecture program, somewhere to the middle, actually. You have the architecture program. Select this program, and you can select whichever category applies to you. You can select that. For ease of discussion, I'm going to click on the open category here. And if you scroll down, this is what you see. Now, let me pause my screen share and see. Okay, perfect. All of you are following this, right? So I'm going to resume my screen share now. So what I was talking to you about earlier was, let's say IIT Kharagpur, you can only go through the All India quota, all right? When it comes to, say, Manit Bhopal, which is one of the excellent schools, they have two options, the home state and the outside state, out of state, right? These are the two quotas that they have. Within these quotas, they have the open category and the reserved categories, whichever one is applicable. But since I've selected open category only, that is visible. But you can use this as a guideline. If you are from the state, use these ranks, whichever is applicable. If you are not from that state, use the relevant ranks which are applicable, right? So I hope all of this is clear to you right now. I'm going to pause and see if there are more questions. Where is the JOSA website? Okay, Smira, I'm sharing this link in the description. All right, the link to this presentation. One second. Now it's going to, I'm going to finish the webinar first. All right, so I'm going to finish the webinar first, then I'm going to share the link. But what I need you to understand is you can click on, for that matter, let me go back to my presentation. Okay. So when I present, okay, so when I share this presentation with you, past year cutoffs for NIT and SPH, you can click on this and you'll reach that page. Okay, I'm going to show this to you again. You can click, I showed you how I clicked on that, and you will reach here. Okay, now I'm going to stop sharing again and go back to my presentation. Okay. Right. Now, so this, we spoke about the past year SPAs and NITs. Now, the state board allocation. Now, in this case, I have put in the Karnataka board details. But if you are not from Karnataka, if you're from any other state, please, the rules are very similar. Go to your state website. In your state education department, they have this processes up there. So I'm going to click on the Karnataka one, and I'm going to show you what exactly the Karnataka state website looks like. Okay, so it's here. This is what it looks like. Click on this. You get all the information that you need here. Now, very important to see this aspect. All right. This aspect shows you the cutoffs of the previous years, right? So you can see UGCET 2022 cutoff, right? Now, if you click on this, you reach this page. Now, once you come here, you need to scroll down all the way till you see this. You see this. Wait, I don't want to go to let me go down to the round one cutoffs, okay? So this is the second round allotment cutoff. I want you to go down to the first round allotment cutoff, all right? So you see the seat matrix, first round option, and first round, sorry, here, this is it. First round allotment results and cutoff, you click on this, you will see all of the details here. Right, I'm going to pause and see if this is what you all can see. Yes, This is what you can see. I'm going to reshare. Now, always use this as a reliable website because this is the official website. Unfortunately, if you click on this, it goes to a dead link, right? This is the unfortunate situation that we're in. It just goes to a dead link, and really there's nothing we can do about this. All right. So for those of you who are interested in finding out the last cutoffs, I'm going to cover that a little later. Okay, last year's cutoffs in Karnataka. But similarly, you'll find the similar situation with the private seats in Karnataka assigned by Comment K and management seats. You'll have to go to each of the college websites, right? So now, for your information, there are only 3 ways to get into a university in Karnataka. One is through the CET option. The second one is through the Comment K option. And third one is through the management seats. Yeah. So the advantages of each are this. When you do go through the CET option, the fee is 1 lakh per year, approximately. The fee is regulated, right? And another regulation is that 40% of the seats are reserved for Karnataka candidates, right? So those who are part of Karnataka, they fall in this and they can apply for these categories. Now, similar to Karnataka, every state has its own set of reservations. It could range from 40% to even 60% or 70%, right? It depends on each state. Now, when it comes to Comment K, the fee ranges increase as compared with the CET quota. So you can expect to pay about 1.5 to 2.5 lakhs a year. 40% of the seats all in open category. There are some reservations, but limited reservations. But you can apply for this as well. This is open to all students across India. So this gets a little more competitive for those from Karnataka because there are students from elsewhere coming in. But for the Karnataka students, CET quota, it is limited to Karnataka students. So that's a very significant difference, right? Management seats generally in the range of 2.5 lakhs to 6.5 lakhs a year. So this changes, it depends upon each school. Sometimes you will see schools like Christ University, like NITE Institute of Architecture in Mangalore, Christ University, Bangalore. So these do not come under the CET process, but they're excellent schools anyway, right? So what happens is they follow the guidelines, they follow the reservation guidelines prescribed by the government, but they do not follow the fee guidelines, right? So their fee structure will be a little higher. They do also offer scholarships to certain students, but you can interact with them and figure that out, right? Now I'm going to stop again and see if there are any questions. Okay. Would you recommend applying for Comment K if I have a 130 plus in NATA? Yes, Meera, I would recommend everyone to apply for both CET as well as Comment K because you can't say what happens. And we would like you to have all your chances, maximize your chances. So please apply for both. Sorry, there's a train going on. Okay, I'm going to resume my slide share. Right. So the next aspect of this process, I'm going to check out on time. Yeah, I have sufficient time. So the next part of this process, CET calls for uploading documents, right? So they've already called for this. You got your opportunity to upload your NATA first attempt scores. Now they'll open it again to upload your second attempt scores. Yeah, your CET ranking is going to be declared shortly. We're expecting this to happen within the next week or two, or by the end of this month. The document verification, make sure that all your documents are ready. All right, that's very critical. Another extremely critical aspect is your own list of preferences of architecture schools. Very critical, right? Um, and then there'll be, of course, the options to based on your list of preference of architecture schools. Schools are going to be allotted to you. So do not make a mistake with this. If you mix up the order, that's it. You're going to be stuck for the next 5 years, right? So you really don't want to be in that process, in that situation. So make sure that you follow these options, and ultimately architecture school is expected to start somewhere in August. Now I'm going to pause again and see if there are more questions. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, so now when you open up the CET portal, you'll get to log in, you get to upload your 12th and PU marks, your 12th marks, whichever board you fall under. Then if you go down below, it'll ask you the option. If you've appeared for NATA, you enter the security code, and then you need to upload your NATA scorecard. So make sure you follow this process. A small rider, this is as for the last year's process. This year's process, I'm not sure any changes, but in general, it'll be very similar to this. The COMET-K process now. Again, very similar. COMET-K will ask you to upload your NATA scorecard and 12 board marks. COMET-K will declare the rankings. You need to have all your documentation ready. Your list of preference of architecture school again comes under COMET-K, very, very critical. They will call for counseling, and then architecture school will start. For management seats, you shortlist your schools, you go directly to the school, contact them, submit your documents, you pay the fee, and that's the way it goes. All right. Now, this is the complex process. If you have, I've covered this in detail during my previous webinar, architecture schools to consider in 2023. Please watch that. If you watched it, watch it again. Very critical for you to do that. Keep in mind a few aspects. Keep your location in mind. Based on your rank, be realistic. If you have a rank of 600 and the cutoff, previous year cutoff for that, the school that you're targeting is within 100, it's tough to get in, right? So be realistic when you are putting in our options. You can always put in as many options. Philosophy of the head of the institute, who is heading the institute, is very critical. I'm going to touch upon that. Infrastructure, brand name, faculty at the institute, your own parameters. So all these things you need to keep in mind. I'll cover this briefly. Do a quick search. See the states you're comfortable with, which schools you're comfortable with. Within each state, there are various cities that have architecture schools. So select the cities of your choice and go for that. All right. Now, this is an interesting thing. Let's say a school, let's assume that a school of architecture has 80 seats approved by the Council of Architecture, right? Now, under CET, 40% of the seats are reserved for Karnataka students. So that means from the 80 seats, 32 seats are reserved for Karnataka architecture students or Karnataka domicile candidates. Of that, 50% are reserved for the general merit of the open category, whatever you call it, right? So ultimately, even though a school has 80 seats, there are only 16 seats that come under the general category, right? If that's what you fall under. Now, I'm not saying this to demotivate you, right? I'm saying this for you to be realistic, right? The only way for you to understand the process is to get your rank first and leave that to the system. The rank will come. If there's any discrepancy in the rank, please reach out to the council, the KEA. They will sort that out. All right. Now, the next aspect are the previous year cutoffs. All right. So again, on the same presentation deck, I have put in the previous year cutoffs here. the links to this cutoffs. Unfortunately, the links to the KCET architecture website, or rather these links are all dead links on the website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to request all of you to join the WhatsApp group. Let me paste this here. Let me screen share. I'm going to hold on. I'm going to select this WhatsApp group. Okay, I'm going to select the link. I'm going to paste it in the hold on. I'm going to paste this in this chat box right now. Okay, so I've shared the link. Please join that WhatsApp group right away, because that's a community. Okay, it doesn't matter whether you're a student of DQ Labs, you're not a student of DQ Labs, you're a parent, you're a grandparent, does not matter. That is a community for all of us to be engaged, all of us to support each other and help each other with this process, because it can get confusing, it can get overwhelming. So please join this group. It's going to help you out. If you missed this chat, we're going to share this in the description of the email of this webinar as well. Please watch that. Right. If you click on this, on the link for COMET-K. Okay, I'm going to show this to you. If you click on this link for COMET-K, you'll get the list of COMET-K colleges that are there, the locations they are at. So you see, based on which location you're interested in, what happens, right? The next aspect is the cutoffs. The COMET-K cutoffs, you can see round one category, they have only two options, then general merit and Hyderabad Karnataka quota. Most of you all will be falling under the general merit category, and this is how you will find the cutoffs. All right. The next aspect is the JOSA website. Again, I'm showing this JOSA website to you. Click on this, and you reach this point where you can do. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this JOSA website link in the chat box right away, so that all of you will have access to it. Okay. I'm going to share my screen again. So, philosophy of the head of the institute, very critical. It defines your future. What you need to understand is that the Council of Architecture has to keep their syllabus or the recommended syllabus to a standard where they're very inclusive of all schools, right? All schools across India, they would like architecture to be accessible to everyone from India. So that's why they have kept the minimum standards, which are pretty good. However, there are a lot of schools that say we want to go beyond what is provided, the structure provided by the Council of Architecture. So that means they're going to focus on getting you international associations, participating in NASA, making sure you travel, making sure you compete in events and placements and internships. So all of these are very critical things, critical support that a school is going to give you. And that's why you need to look for the schools that give these opportunities to you. Very important. But just because you have great knowledge and skills related to architecture does not mean that's everything, right? You need a certain acumen, a business acumen, to make sure that you're a successful architect. That requires you to have some business skills, some finance skills, some marketing skill, leadership. So all these things, there are schools that don't directly impart this onto you. You will not have a class on business. right? You'll not have a class in marketing, but through the opportunities that they give you, right? They say, okay, let's organize an event, and you guys go out and get funding for the event, get sponsorships, right? So that teaches you business, it teaches you leadership, it teaches you negotiation, it teaches you marketing, right? You catch opportunities, you learn to catch opportunities. So all these things are very critical when it comes to you as a aspirant. I'm going to pause and see if there are more questions. No more questions. Okay, I'm going to continue. I hope you all can see my screen. Yes, you all can see my screen. Okay, right. So now what do you do? What can you do now? So someone was asking, I think Smira was asking, what do we do now? Right now, focus on a few things, right? Till the results come, you can't do anything, or you can't do much. So attend the architecture school e-meets. We start off our architecture school e-meet series tomorrow. It's a meet with Christ University School of Architecture. That happens tomorrow. We've got other schools coming in. The purpose of this webinar of the e-meet is people are going to come, the top management of the school is going to come. They are visionaries, right? So they're going to come and tell you what they envision for their school, what they envision for you as students, and what they have done, their infrastructure. All of this is going to be spoken about in the e-meets. We're looking forward to having that discussion with you tomorrow. Design Nuances Edu Series. This is again a series that happens on Sundays. Probably going to have it next Sunday. It doesn't happen every time, but at least try and attend these. You will. The next few series are going to be done by architecture schools, so you get an idea of the faculty at the school and how they are able to communicate an idea and how they are able to deliver an idea, something interesting related to you and your understanding, right? Try and visit at least 5 architecture schools. Try, all right? It's not an easy thing. Also, when you go to a school, certain schools may have people to take you around, show you, introduce you, talk to you, have people talking. That's a good thing, right? But you also have schools that say, oh, you want to come, you can come and just, see the campus, right? So that becomes a challenge because those schools don't have the bandwidth to really take you around and walk you through the entire campus, right? But it's not necessary that those are bad schools, right? But your experience of walking through the school will be like, okay, what do you see, right? But you need to look for a few things. But unless you visit 4 or 5 architecture schools, you really won't get to see. You'll only understand. You'll touch the surface of actually what will happen is you'll touch the surface of this, right? This is what the principal or the HOD or the dean is saying that our school is going to deliver. But actually, have they delivered that, right? So when you visit 5 different architecture schools, you will be able to create a framework of reference saying, okay, first year students did this kind of work in this school, but not as good work in the other school. So I prefer this over this one, right? So that's something you need to work around. Again, join this WhatsApp group. This is the best place for you to get the latest information. If you think this group will help your friends, send it to your friend, ask them to join as well. It's very important. Be very interactive in the e-meets. Ask deep questions. Do not ask shallow questions. Whether you're talking to your friends who are studying in the schools, or if you're talking to a faculty or the dean, don't ask a question like, oh, how's the school or how's the program? That's not going to get you a good answer. The answer you're going to get is, oh, the school is good or the school is not good, right? It's a horrible school. Don't ask that. Ask a deep question, which means you want the people to have a descriptive answer, not a conclusive answer, right? So, for example, you ask, what kind of guest faculty have been coming to the school? What are the types of projects that you have visited from the school? What are the events that you have participated in that are not part of the curriculum, right? So the people you're asking the questions need to think and answer. That's when you'll get very objective feedback. I've found students, like when I go and talk to my own students who are at school, if when I ask them, okay, how's the school? They say, oh, it's horrible. But then when I probe deeper, I say, tell me what is good, what is bad, what is not good. And as you probe deeper and deeper, then you find out that the school is not so bad. The experience is not that bad. Maybe they've had a bad experience, but that does not mean that the school is bad, right? You will have diverse experience throughout your program, right? The initial first years are very intensive. The first year is very intensive. You're getting used to the system. A lot of students give up in the first year, right? But it just gets better and better and better as you progress. It's not that the first year is hard, it is adjusting to the first year that's hard, right? We're used to school being so easy up to class 11 and 12, right? We're not used to having deadlines. We're not used to having submission. There are ups and downs, but you need to deal with it. Okay. I'm guessing, okay, I should be ending my part of the talk. So I'm coming down to a few questions. Architecture students just have to apply for COMEDK, right? We don't have to write any exam. No writing COMEDK exam, no writing CET exam, nothing. You just apply for COMEDK. COMEDK has a separate application for architecture students, so please apply on that. CET, I'm sure you're applied by now. Aarti is asking, if I have chosen a college, yeah. So Aarti is asking, if I have chosen a college through KCET and have also applied through COMEDK and get an even better college later, will I get a refund from KCET? Aarti, I think you asked for the best questions. You need to go through, and I'm not going to answer it directly, right? You need to go through the CET prospectus in detail. It's covered there. If you have a doubt, please write an email to the CET cell. They are not going to judge you. They're going to tell you what it is, and what it is what it is. Please follow process. There are penalties for withdrawing after you have paid for a seat and blocked a seat, and then you withdraw. What happens is another student loses the opportunity for getting that seat, number one. Number two, the school loses the opportunity of earning more money, right? Because ultimately they too need to survive. So it's a court decision the CET cell is following. So please go through not the court decision, the details in the CET handbook. If you have any doubts, please make sure you write to them, all right, and get an answer. If you don't get an answer, go to the CET cell and ask this question. It's very important. What are the documents required for counseling? Sanjana, the documents is an exhaustive list of documents depending on which category you come under. So please go through the CET handbook. The process is there, the documents are there, the guidelines are there. Please go through that. C Race is asking, where can I find merit score versus rank for previous year cutoffs for CET and COMEDK? I will share this link with you. Now, why I'm asking you to join the WhatsApp group is because the Karnataka CET Architecture cutoff ranks are not available on their website. The website is a dead link. So I'm going to share it on WhatsApp, right? Join the WhatsApp group. I'm going to share it in the WhatsApp group right now after this this discussion. Yeah. Okay, that's enough. That's up it for the questions right now. You can explore the DQ Labs website. We have a few architecture schools to consider. The DQ Edge website is also something that you can see. Now I'm going to resume screen share. The DQ Edge website is something. So if you click on the DQ Edge website, the edge.ecolabs.in/colleges, you can filter by architecture schools. You filter by these schools. These are the pretty good schools that you can consider. As many of them are there. Just have a look at these, and those should help you out. Okay, it should give you some kind of a guideline at least. Sharing my screen again. Right. So very important. This is a good way to, explore the schools. You'll get DQ Edge. You go to the DQ Edge list of schools. You can go to each of these schools, understand what the infrastructure is, the brand, the faculty. So all of those things are important. There are open houses. Please attend these open houses as much as possible. As much as possible. We've already had an architecture exhibition. How many here have attended the architecture exhibition? Number one, please type in, please give me, a reaction or a thumbs up, or type in yes if you attended that. How many of you have attended the BMS School of Architecture visit? It was a beautiful visit. We've done one with NITE School of Architecture Planning and Design in Bangalore. So very important, right? So now to create your own rank list. Now this is a critical thing. So you have your own rank list, all right? You put in your own preferences here, your location, your competition to get in, the philosophy, you rank it, you give it a rating from 1 to 5, right? Based on your preferences. Put your school names here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And based on these parameters, finally you can, you can this is just a guideline, so you can put in your own parameters. This will help you kind of figure out what order to put this in. All right. If you can do this homework, there's nothing like it. Yeah. Right. So that's about it from my side. And I'm looking for your questions. S. Rajesh Agarwal is asking, what is your opinion about Manipal School of Architecture? Rajesh, I'm, on an online platform like this, it's not possible for me to give, an opinion about every one of these schools. But I can tell you this, that every school is there for a purpose, and a good purpose, right? They're there to deliver good quality education to you. And they're trying to do their best, right? Now, what you need to see is what suits you, right? For example, and this is why I focused on the philosophy aspect, right? There are certain architecture schools that say, you know what, we'll do the curriculum, this is prescribed by the COA, we'll do the curriculum, and that's it, right? But there are other schools that say, let's go beyond the curriculum, let's do some projects, let's do some visits, let's get some guest faculty in. Let's have international exchanges, right? Let's give you the opportunity to study abroad, right? It's up to you. So this is what. Now, for example, how many of y'all have attended the Jindal? Okay, let me put up a poll. Okay. Okay, so I'm putting up a poll right now. Please type this in, right? And I'm specifically asking this because it's a very, very interesting option. Now, wouldn't you want to maybe start off doing your architecture in India and finish off with an architecture degree abroad, right? In Australia, absolutely legal, absolutely recognized. You can come back to India and work, right? Brilliant option. And you can not only work in India, you can also work in, let's say, the UK or any of the Commonwealth countries, General is the only school that's that at least I'm aware of that gives this option, right? The people who visited um, the Jindal open house in Bangalore, they really saw this and benefited from this, right? So I recommend that everyone attends this. How many of you attended? I'm going to start another poll. Okay, did you attend the architecture schools exhibition in Bangalore? Okay, I'm going to ask another question, right? There's another poll there. Right. So how many of you? I'm looking forward to getting this. No judging. Okay, nobody's names. It's all anonymous, right? But yeah, but very important to understand this. Um, these are platforms created for you to really reach out and reach out to the schools and understand one school from the other. So Smira is asking, which are the schools in Bangalore that go out of their way to give much more than the curriculum? So Smira, all those schools that came to all the schools. So we've cherry picked the schools, right? We've not invited all the schools to DQ Labs for the open house. So Jindal School, because they came from from the Delhi NCR region, so we couldn't have them by at DQ Labs. But what they did is we organized the visit to their to their open house it was at Renaissance Hotel, right? So Jindal, excellent. Christ University, excellent. RV, College of Architecture. BMS School of Architecture in Yelahanka, right? This is an excellent one. They're really doing a lot. NITE School of Architecture, Planning and Design. CMR University School of Architecture. Have I missed any? Wadiyar Center for Architecture in Mysore. Phenomenal option for you to consider. Let me see. Have there been any others? Yeah, I think that's about it. That's about it, right? So those are the ones that we would recommend that you consider. Manipal is not on that list, all right? Not on that list. Primarily, there is also a locational advantage that schools have by being in cities, all right, in the metro cities. They tend to be more accessible to guest faculty, be more accessible to internships and industry and the entire ecosystem, right? Which is a lot more mature to, let's say, look at a suburban railway network or a metro network or five-star hotel. So all these things, make a bit of a difference. So we're trying to see which schools suit that, right? But Rajesh, I think good question. I've spent a lot of time in answering that. So this whole part of this discussion was answering that. So hope your question is answered. Yeah. So Sirius is asking, what is a good merit score for 2023, right? I would put it this way. It's again highly speculative based on my past experience, but I think probably a 120 plus in your NATA and say an 85-90% plus in your boards will get you in the top 200 ranks, right? Where you can have good choice of schools. I would say that, but even if you don't hit that, even if you're in the top 500, 600 ranks, it's still, you still have a good choice of schools available. Yeah. We've just got 5 minutes more. I hope this has been a useful presentation or a discussion for you. Um, Please give me a thumbs up or a reaction if you like this webinar. Also, actually like this webinar. It always helps us. It helps us for sure. It certainly helps us. If there is anything that you would want me to answer more, please, let me know now. We are wrapping up. Yeah. Okay. Right. So Rajesh, I got a thumbs up from you. Thank you so much. Right. Right. So thank you. In the next probably 5 minutes, we will be putting the links there. The most important link is the link to the cutoffs, the Karnataka CET cutoffs. Those cutoffs are only going to be shared on the WhatsApp group. So if you're not on the WhatsApp group, please join immediately. Right. So last few questions I'm taking. What are the advantages and disadvantages of colleges not aligned with VTU curriculum? Oh, fantastic question. So Krishang, lovely question. Now, VTU is a common university in Karnataka. A lot of the schools are affiliated to the VTU. So what happens is the VTU board of studies meets periodically, right? But if it's a private school or a private or an autonomous institute, their board of studies tends to meet a lot more often, right? So from a curriculum perspective, you can possibly expect the curriculum of an autonomous college to be a little more forward, right? Now, but that does not mean that a school affiliated to VTU is not good, because what they will do is that the college will be affiliated to VTU and following their guidelines, but they will still say, you know what, I'm not going to be satisfied with that. I'm going to do more things for my students, right? So overall, you can expect it to be similar. It's at a college level or a university or an institute level, the commitment that they have to the students. And that's why it's important to see who is heading the school. They are the ones who will give you the experience. Leave the academic aspect aside. Yeah. So the CET, has the CET verification process started? Smira, no, it's not started yet. Krishang is, yeah. Anna is asking, do I need to attend the third attempt if I have a 120 NATA? Anna, good question. Lovely question. I hope everyone's attentive to this. All right. Anna, you have a good 120 in your NATA. It depends on how much you scored in the first attempt as well, right? Let's assume that someone has scored 110 in the first attempt and 120 in the second attempt, right? Now, if you just use this as your guideline, they will consider the top best of the two attempts. But the complication comes if you do the third attempt as well, right? Now, it depends on how well prepared you are to score higher than 110 and possibly higher than 120, right? Because if you can score higher than 120, then it's worth answering the third attempt, because they will average your top two scores, right? The risk is if you get less than 120, then your score comes down, right? Now, there are students who I have told, don't bother answering the third attempt. Why? Because they've already got 130, 140 in their first two attempts, right? So why take the chance of bringing your score down? But if you have, say, 120, I would say that be a little cautious. It's a good score. If you're confident of going up further, then take it. Otherwise, you may not I don't want your score to come lower than that, right? So it depends a lot on your confidence level. You mentioned faculty is one of the most important criteria for choosing the college. I am not even an architecture student now. How do I judge the faculty? Is there a simpler way to find that out? Well, yeah, this is a complex one, right? So, so creativity, art, creativity, these are very complex concepts to teach. All right, you need a skilled person to teach that. Now, when you attend the DNES series, the Design Nuances Edu series, representatives from the school will come and they will talk and they will explain a concept in simple terms. The simpler they do, the better it is. If you, I'm sorry, I'm going to go on mute for a second. Right. If you are able to, sorry, there's a train passing, so I've lost my train of thought. Yeah, but the idea is for you to have an experience with the faculty of the school to understand how they teach. You know, that way you may sync with the school. That's one option. The second option is to actually, when you like the BMS School of Architecture visit, there was a lot of activity happening there. You participate in workshops. So the faculty taking these workshops are the ones who are part of the school, right? So it's not easy to judge, but when you go to 4 or 5 schools, you'll see the commitment of the faculty, you'll see the kind of projects that the students have done. That will give you an idea of the quality of the faculty, right? But there's a lot of gray areas there. But unless you visit 4 or 5 schools, it's harder to judge, right? But at least you'll be in a better position to judge if you've done those visits. The next one, Preetham is saying, and I'm taking this as the last question because we've gone above time. The third attempt won't be considered for CET and Comet Care, right? So, Preetham, occasionally, if things get delayed, they do allow you to update your third attempt scores, all right? If you've already got a rank, they'll give you a revised rank. So there are provisions for that. It's not announced right now, but it could happen, it could not happen. It's again a gray area. If you think you can score better on your third attempt, do it and then take a call later. Yeah. Is UVCE a better choice than when compared to private schools? So I would think decision making is a lot faster in UVC, in private schools, right? Because what happens in private schools, the board of studies meets more often. Decisions are taken at a school level. The heads take the decisions, and they move a lot faster. Whereas in UVCE, even if faculty are quite excited about doing things, it is the bureaucracy of the process that takes time, right? So my personal preference is, again, this changes from person to person. I'm not saying that UVC is not a good place to be. It is a good place to be, but I would think that if let's say you want to go out for a study and you need the permission from your principal, right? To get those permissions are much easier in a private school than in a UVC, right? So sometimes it could even come once the date has passed, right? So that bureaucratic delays could play a factor in your studies. So you take the call whether you like that, whether you're okay to deal with that or not. A last question for the day: how do I directly apply for colleges who accept JEE Paper 2? Only the NITs and SPS officially accept JEE Paper 2. You need to score a minimum of 75%, I think, in your boards, and the balance is given by, and once you do that, then you qualify for JEE Paper 2. JEE Paper 2, you answer it, you get a rank, you go by that rank, all right? Now, some private schools are saying that we accept the JEE Paper 2 score. Word of caution, they may accept you, but your entry point is officially considered as the NATA, please don't bank only on JE paper 2. If a school says that they're accepting that, well and good, fantastic, go for it. But also make sure that you are doing things independently. All right. Um, Chaitanya was asking, should I consider to apply for NITs with a JE rank of 2600 plus? Go for it. All right, go for it. You shouldn't feel like you've not taken opportunities. Go for it. Take all the opportunities. Try, give it your best shot. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. All right. Thank you all for being a wonderful, interactive group of students. I hope you all have joined the WhatsApp group. Um, and I'm not seeing too many people who've joined the group, but oh, have they? Yeah. So there are a few people who've joined today, but yeah, but looking forward to all of you all participating actively in the group. And yeah, so thank you for joining in, and all the best to all of you all. Please connect with us. Let us know what your rank is and what your score is. If you have got a good, I mean, whatever your score is, please send it to the DQ Labs counselors and make sure that you've passed your information around. All right. All the best. Take care and goodbye. Thanks a lot for being so attentive.